Okay. Okay, so episode 6 of season 2 is titled Secrets because all of them are keeping secrets.
You're right, they
Everybody's keeping
are.
secrets. There's so many secrets floating around.
It
Yeah.
starts with Herschel and his family's secret that
Mm-hmm.
only Glenn and
I think Dale knows
I
at this
think Dale
point.
knows,
Yeah.
yeah. And so Patricia slash looks like old
Beth.
Beth, thank
Yeah.
you, is out getting the chickens, and I think breaking one leg.
Yeah, she's like breaking one leg on each chicken. Yeah, and
And
then like
then,
putting them in a sack and a
uh-huh.
wheelbarrow and like wheeling it down to the barn.
Yeah, and she goes up into the hayloft and then dumps the chickens
Mm-hmm.
into the Walker swarm.
Enclosure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so my question here is like, I get that they think that they're people and they're waiting until the virus goes away, and maybe that's it. Like maybe that's the whole reason behind it, but like why are they feeding the walkers? Is there something saying that like if you don't feed the walkers it's going to get worse? Like
Yeah.
because they definitely know that they need food to live, but they're using it on the walkers.
Yeah, I don't know if they just sort of assume because it's like, oh, it's a human, so it needs to eat. Like, and I guess maybe they just like they didn't like test it out to see
I
if they would
guess
like get
not.
weak or something. I mean, yeah, it's kind of yeah. I think they're just like making the assumption, but
So are they feeding them 3 times a day?
that's a good question. Like, are
That
they
seems
being
pretty
yeah.
excessive because she dumped at
Yeah.
least like 6 chickens in there,
Good
right?
point.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, it was quite a yeah, it was quite a few chickens. Yeah, that's a good point about like how how often are they feeding them? Like how many
yeah,
chickens do they have to go around?
yeah.
Do they are they feeding them any other live animals? Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So Glenn volunteers to go get stuff for Lori because she's pregnant, and he's like, you need a nice pillow, and like saying all these random things. But like, how does he know that she's pregnant for sure?
Yeah.
Like, he got her a pregnancy test, and she went and took the pregnancy test in secret, but it never showed her like telling him, "Yes, I'm pregnant."
Yeah.
Like,
He can't know for sure. Yeah.
he just assumes.
Yeah. Let's see. So Glenn agrees to go get some stuff for her. She asks for something else secret
Mm-hmm.
from him. So then he like goes to town with Maggie, and
Maggie's
let's
kind of
see.
giving him the silent treatment.
Yeah, because I think let's see. I guess just because of the barn, just because he knows now. Like
Yeah,
she doesn't know that he told Dale or anything, but
right, right.
she's like worried that he's gonna tell everybody else now, and she's like, oh, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
So they go back to that like. I mean, it's a pharmacy. It's like a general store, I guess. They have some other stuff there, but they have a pharmacy,
like the
like the
like the
hardware
hardware
section.
next to the
Yeah,
feminine hygiene.
it's like this is what our town needs the most.
Hammers and tampons.
Exactly, yeah. So winning combination. So like, okay, so they go in and like they're kind of fighting a little bit, and like Maggie goes to get the drugs, right? She goes
Yes.
back to the pharmacy. Glenn's kind of like in the front, and he's kind of moping a little bit, and he's like
Mm-hmm.
throwing the hand lotion, and let's see. There is a so then she Maggie gets attacked by a walker who's like
In the
behind the like the
pharmacy.
shelf in the
Yes.
pharmacy
Yeah.
and like going at her like through the shelf. And then there's a mistake where you can like when she's shouting for Glenn, like the second time the camera shows Glenn, you can see like I guess like a crew member or something from the production like through the storefront and
Just
like out
standing
just
there.
standing there outside. Yeah, so then let's see. So she's screaming, Glenn's reaction is kind of delayed
Yeah,
because,
yeah. She
yeah,
yells, "No, no, no,
and
no,
there's like
Glenn,
shaking
help!"
and, yeah, there's
Right
like a lot of
before he
noise.
actually reacts and is like,
He's like, Maggie!
"Maggie!" Yeah, he like
Yeah,
takes like a long
takes
pause.
him like 10 seconds or something to like fully register what's going
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
which like that's not very good during the
No,
apocalypse
it's
to have such
not. And
slow reaction
yeah, like he's
times.
supposed to be kind of like
The
fast
fast
and like,
one, yeah.
he's like Spider-Man, I guess, like in the,
It-
how he's like jumping from the rooftops and like going through the sewers and
yeah.
like, yeah.
So he like jumps behind the counter and he uses like a shelf to basically
Yeah.
decapitate the
Yeah,
walker.
like three quarters
Yeah,
decapitate it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it falls on the ground and like they're hugging and then she's like, "Oh no," like because it gets back up and so then he uses his weapon to completely bash its head in. And I think this is the point where like she stops seeing them as people.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was wondering if that was because like it was almost completely decapitated and it was still coming towards them. But you made a good point that like
Thank you.
at the well, like she saw that thing like completely rip in half and the top of the body was like rah.
Yeah,
Before
and she was like
T-Dog
horrified before he, before he bashed its head in. Yeah, no, I agree. So I think it was partly seeing it mostly decapitated and still moving, like still functional, that convinced her that they're not really human anymore. But I also think it was partly a selfish reaction to like this is the first time that she's been in danger because of a walker. Like, I think this is the first time that one has tried to kill her.
Yeah.
And so I think it was like kind of like a fear, like, oh my god, like this thing is like just gonna murder me.
Right.
Like I think it kind of, she was like, oh my god, this can't be a human because it's like it's just behaving like so inhumanly and it's gonna kill me. So I think it was a combination of like of both of those things. But yeah, I think this is when Maggie finally starts to kind of break free of like Herschel's crazy ideas about what the walkers are.
But seeing the person in the background of the storefront was really funny. That was a really good catch.
Thank you.
So Shane and Andrea go off and they're basically like checking a neighborhood
for some reason there's like this suburban neighborhood. Then they're like maybe Sophia's there.
Yeah.
And yeah, for some reason they think she's there. I mean, I think at this point, like they just don't really have any good ideas left about where she could be. So they're just like, well, here's this place. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
And they even like go into one of the house and they're like, Sophia, and then they see that there was a wall put up.
Yeah, there's like a drywall put up as like a barrier
and
against
it's like,
walkers.
Well, okay, Sophia couldn't put up that drywall,
right.
so obviously she's not in that house. But they find a hole in the drywall and they go through it and they're on the other side and they go into a garage where there's like a bunch of
walkers, I think,
or
because
just
they're
bodies. They look burned.
Yes. Well, actually, I mean, you're right. That part, because they like the first room they go into, it's like I think they're walkers. Like they look like walkers. They look like desiccated flesh, but they're all kind of just like they're like face down, like in this kind of like circle, or like not circle, but like sort of like a very small area, which made me wonder if it was like a human like gunned them all down like one by one as they were coming or something.
Oh.
And like, but like it's not really clear, but like, and then they go into like. Was that the garage? Maybe?
Yes. It's the
garage.
You're right.
Yes, it was a. Yeah, they like go into the garage and there's like all these like burned bodies.
Yeah.
Like, some of them, I mean, I felt like they were supposed to be human. Some of them, it's not. It's not really clear what happened there. Like,
no.
And so then as they're like inspecting this,
the garage door is opened by like maybe a foot at the bottom.
And they hear walkers like when they're like 5 feet away, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
They hear them like very last minute.
Mm-hmm, exactly. It's like, man, some of these walkers are like they seem to know that they should be stealthy or something. Like when they're like approaching before they ambush people.
And one like hits the ground and starts
crawling.
crawling.
It's fast. It's
under
a special
the door.
Forces walker. Yeah.
Special Forces walker.
Yeah.
It's like super fast, and that just goes back to my complaint about when they hit under the cars. Like on the highway, like
apparently they can crawl, do that. Apparently
right, we've seen
they
this
can
multiple
crawl.
times now.
Yeah, it's very like convenient to the plot or like to the scene whether they can like whether they're like able to like understand, hey, like what if we crawl under this thing, and like whether they're physically able to do that.
Right. If
like
they have like the physical ability or like the mental capacity to like figure out how to do that.
Because it's like most of the time it seems like they can't.
Right.
but then sometimes they can
when it's
and
convenient to the plot.
And like and so it's like that one walker is like going for him under the garage door. So let's see, then they're like,
let's get out of here.
Yeah, they take off, go back to their car.
And when they're like out in front, there's a bunch of walkers starting to swarm them, and Shane has been teaching Andrea this whole time how to shoot a walker.
Yeah,
and
like
he,
when it's moving. Yeah.
Right, and he brought up Amy earlier, and they had like a fight about it, basically.
Yeah.
And like her gun gets jammed, and there's a walker coming at her, and he's like, clear the jam. Like, I got your back. And she clears it and shoots it, like, right before it gets her. And then she just magically...
Yeah. Then she's like, okay, mental block gone. And then she's just, like, perfectly shooting them in the head. Yeah, and, like, Shane has to be, like... And, I mean, okay, like, I guess he wanted to give her practice under pressure, like, shooting them. Because, like, they could have gone for their car, like, at any point.
Yeah.
And gotten away. But, like, they're... Okay, and it's like, okay, so he wants to give her practice, but I would say this is not the appropriate time to do it because walkers are coming from all directions.
Yes.
Like, they're being surrounded.
Yes, they
and
are.
it's like, this is, like, okay, why not do it when they're, like, when you just have a couple of them or something? I really think that would have been the more prudent choice. But then she's like bam, 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 and she's like then now she's like really getting off on
like,
it.
oh, I'm good.
She's like nice, you know, and so then Shane has to be like, okay, we gotta go now.
Which, like, we obviously know she's getting off on it because when they're in the car driving away,
then when they're she's like so turned on. She
I like reaches over and
grabs his crotch,
and then he like he lets go of the wheel, and he's like, what does he say? He's like, get over here or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Get over here, get on it, something like that.
And it like shows the outside of the car, and the car is still rolling a little bit. So like he took his hands off the wheel, never put it in park, and just like has the car still in drive as they're like starting to get it on.
Yeah, it's like this is fine.
I mean, it was like a dip, so it's just like
it's just rolling like, back and it's like rolling up and down and back and forth as they're having sex. Yeah, no, it's I thought that was funny.
So Maggie and Glenn come back from the store, and Maggie's pissed. She's like, here's your hand soap, and here's your conditioner, and here's your abortion pills, and like throws them at her. She's like, we're not your errand boys.
Yeah.
And so Lori decides that she's like in the tent, like,
oh, I think I just want to mention before that, like, how like Glenn is like I got her like is like, you know, I don't know, just in case, like, here's some prenatal vitamins in case you like decide to like which choice you make. Yeah. I just think it's kind of funny because he's like, and like, it doesn't look like a great brand of prenatals.
No, it's like, very generic.
Yeah. But then she's like, oh, what am I gonna do?
Right. She's in the tent. She's like kind of hyperventilating, trying to decide between which one to do, and she ends up deciding to take the abortion pills, and so she like takes them and drinks water from her like little cup, and then immediately it's like, you know, like 2 or 3 seconds, and she's like, oh no, wrong choice. Runs outside, but then like runs quite a ways away from the camp to go throw them up.
It's similar to when she took the pregnancy test, where it's like, I don't think that's necessary. Like, I think in both cases, you're kind of like putting yourself in danger.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, okay, I really don't think you have to like
be like, what are you throwing up,
much
Lori?
Distance. Yeah.
What is that?
Dale's like, hey, let me feel around in your vomit to see what that is. Like, hey, I gotta check, you know, like, like,
I found a pill in here.
Hey, what's this? I'll take it to test it. Like, and so she's like, so then she throws it up. I did not see any pills in her vomit.
No.
Like, it really just looked like liquid.
Well,
I don't think she threw them up.
When she took the pills, it looked like she took like 5 of them.
Exactly.
Not just like...
She took like a handful of them. I mean, I don't think that's safe.
I
I don't think
I
that's
also
safe for the
think-
person taking them.
I also think her pregnancy is too far along
I agree,
for those to take
because it
effect.
clearly showed that they were morning after
Yes,
pills,
yes, it said
and
morning
not like a
after.
literal abortion
Abortion pill,
pill.
yes.
Like it's not. Yeah, like they keep saying abortion pills,
But it
the
said
package
morning
clearly
after.
says morning after
Yeah,
pills.
so-
And I totally agree. Like I think it's far too far along. Like I don't think those are gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, which maybe that's why she's taking like
A whole
half a
handful
dozen
of
of
them?
them.
Like,
But it's like
she's gonna
that's
kill
not
herself in
safe.
the
Exactly.
process.
Like that is like come on. Like those things are not like you can't just take extra
Right.
to try to like abort yourself like after
Right.
the period during which morning after pills would actually do something. Like you
Right.
can't just take I mean unless you're willing to die yourself.
Right.
Unless you're willing to like seriously harm yourself taking too many of them. But yeah. Yeah, so she goes and throws them up.
And then Rick finds the packaging and he goes out and like has a fight with her about it.
And so I was thinking, like, Lori must have. I mean, I don't know how much time in between her going to throw him up, Rick going in the tent, finding the package, and then going to find her, like, just kind of standing there.
Right.
And then they have their conversation. But, like, did Lori, like, was that immediately after she threw up that he went and found her? Because, like, I mean,
She's still pretty far out there.
yeah, because I'm just like, did she just figure, okay, I'll tell Rick now, and was like, I guess I don't need to like run back and hide the packages?
Oh, that's a good
I mean,
point.
I don't know, and I mean, maybe that was it. Maybe she was just like, well, whatever, screw it. I decided to keep the baby, so at this point, like, I guess I'll just have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because, like, otherwise, it's like, you know, you just forgot that they're just sitting there
Right.
on the table or whatever, that, like, Rick or Carl is gonna, like,
One
walk
of-
in.
yeah.
Who knows where Carl even... I guess no, what am I saying? He's still recuperating, isn't he? Or is he? I actually kind of
I
forgot
actually
where
don't
Carl
know
is at this point.
because it was either this episode or the last episode.
Yeah.
He like showed Shane that
You're
he had a
right,
gun,
yeah.
so like he was out of bed. And
That's true.
He was doing better, and like why?
Huh.
Also, why would you show Shane that you have a gun unless
Yeah.
you wanted them to find out and you wanted,
Yeah.
like you said, attention?
He's like, well, I'm not like on death's door
Right,
anymore.
right.
So, but I'm addicted to this attention. Everybody worrying about me. So I'm gonna like make a cry for attention by like having a gun now. Like that's yeah. And so everything he does from that point on, he's an attention junkie. Yeah. But no. I mean, yeah, because now I'm kind of questioning where Carl is, like,
You're
during
right.
this, like, what's going on with him.
That's a good point.
Thank you.
I'm not really sure. And so Lori ends up like fussing that
Yeah.
her and Shane had like a fling, and Rick's like, I know.
He's like, I know, of course I knew. Yeah.
The world was coming to an end, and you thought I was dead, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's trying to like justify it in his own mind to like
Pretty
be okay
much,
with
yeah,
it.
exactly.
But earlier in the episode, Dale, being like with all of his old man wisdom, he decides to confront Lori about the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And she has like this like pretty emotional reaction, and she's talking about how she still has a deep well to remember joy from, and she thinks that
Yeah.
Carl is already like forgetting, and he's just becoming like
I guess ignoring how Rick was like, he talked about the deer, Lori, the deer.
You're right.
Like, oh no, it's just like I feel like she's just kind of like that was his whole point.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's just kind of like, no, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Like
and she's like, how can I bring a child into
Yeah.
this world, like. And maybe she's already feeling hormonal, and so like she's
Yeah.
having kind of big swings already. But if you were worried about bringing a child into this world, why
Yeah.
didn't you
No,
wear
exactly.
a condom with Shane? Like,
yeah. Because it's like, I mean, yeah, like you just figured you guys would be dead before that was I just don't think she was like, I think she was being dumb and
I
just
think so,
not thinking
too.
about it. Because it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you could get pregnant. I don't
right? 'Cause
I
it's
don't know
no
how to
longer,
tell you that. Like, do they not have any sex ed in this like Georgia public schools or
I
something?
mean,
I don't know.
it no longer seems to be an issue of like, is it Shane's? Is it Rick's? How do
Right.
I tell Rick? Like,
It's just like-
I don't
yeah.
want to bring a baby
It's
into
exactly,
this world.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's yeah, and I just feel like Lori is kind of like, I don't know, because yeah, she's just really like pessimistic about all of it. Like, and I mean, I don't think she even knows at this point, because Herschel has said to Rick, like, I want you guys gone once your boy's healed. Like, I don't think Lori knows that. I can't remember if Rick told her or not.
I don't think Rick told her, but Lori did go up and was talking to him about, like, earning their keep.
Okay,
and he
you're
was
right,
like,
yeah.
well, now that Carl's getting better, I don't do a good Herschel.
Oh, no, that's good.
Saying, like, now that Carl's getting better, I imagine you'll be on your way soon.
You're right, okay. Because I was thinking, like, does she even, like, I mean, they're really safe at this point.
They
like,
are, yeah.
The farm, like, they're basically fine. Like, they're just, you know, like, I don't think they've had a single, I mean, aside from the ones in the barn, but, like, I don't think they've
Lori
had a
doesn't know
single,
about that.
yeah, I don't think they've had a single walker up there.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, was there, I feel like there was something else. Like, it was just, like, Dale confronting Herschel. He's confronting everybody about their secrets in this.
Yes.
In this episode.
His, like, the episode's called Secrets. I'm gonna make you expose them.
And at the very end, I believe, like Dale. Oh, because Andrea and Shane get back.
Oh, that's right.
And then, I guess Herschel, I mean, Dale. I get them confused because they're basically the same person. Except one wears, like, a hat and the other one has a funny accent.
Yeah.
But, like, so then Andrea and Shane
Wait,
get
I
back.
don't know which is which from that description. Because doesn't Dale also wear, like...
Dale is the one with the hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think Herschel wears a
Does he
hat,
not?
does he? Well, no, you're right.
Maybe,
I sometimes.
thought he did, like, when he was out in the
sometimes,
fields
yes,
and
he
stuff.
does. No, you're right. He does sometimes. Yeah. No, you see, it's confusing. It's confusing. Yeah. And so, okay. So, like, they get back, and then...
It's super obvious they just banged. They're all, like, looking at each other, they're like, sideways. Like,
it's exactly the same thing. Man, another similarity between Dale and Herschel. It's exactly the same situation as when Maggie and Glenn got back. And Herschel was like,
do I have
like,
anything to worry about?
Yeah, like, he's like, he just is like, you know, like, instantly knows that they had sex on their run. Yeah. So then Dale is, like, being all, like, possessive or protective or whatever of Andrea, and so then he's, like, talking to Shane in the woods, and he's like, you know, you should go, Shane.
Yeah.
Like, I know what kind of man you are. Mm-hmm. I saw what you when you had your gun on Rick, and Shane's like, I love him like a brother.
That's why I touched him intimately when he had blood on his face.
Yeah. He's like, if you think that's the kind of man I am, Dale, then I don't think this is a good idea. Think about what I would do to you.
Yeah.
You're practically dead already, you old son of a bitch. I mean, I'm mildly paraphrasing. He did say you're, like, almost dead already. Mm-hmm. And then Dale makes his horrified face. His, like, staring, open-mouthed face. And then, and then I think that's pretty much the end of the episode.
I think
yeah.
So.
Excellent.